Hello, Jackie McAllister with Coastal Inspirations with Jackie. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Canada, Vancouver Island on the west coast of BC. I thought I would bring to you a quick beginner card. It's really cute. It's using the, well, at least I think so. It's using the Valentine Kisses. And I really like that set. I really haven't played with it too much, but it's a really good set or bundle to have, and I'll show you why. I've actually videoed before, so I'm not live. I'm not able to do lives at this time, but in the future that is the goal, to be able to do lives and to bring more beginner cards to you. My goal is to share what I have learned, the tips and tricks along my crafting journey with you. And vice versa, right? Sharing. So I thought today, so I made this card for a swap here on the island. There was a meeting for Vancouver Island demonstrators, and we did a swap. I participated in 2 of the 3 swaps. One of them was a Valentine's, this one. The other one is a happy birthday, which will be my 3rd video that I'm going to post. So this is the video that I'm going to post hopefully tonight, and then I'll post another one tomorrow and another one on Sunday. So I'm just playing catch up. I've already done a couple of these cards, so but I had a technical difficulty, so I'm redoing it. So I'm gonna create this card. Tomorrow is going to be this card here, which is, it looks very complex. It's actually very, very easy, very quick to put together. And I'm also then going to do another one. Where did I put it? I don't know. Oh, here it is. The next one for Sunday is this card here. Maybe a slight variation of it. So those are the next 3 cards that I will be demonstrating for you, with this one being our first one of the 3. Sorry if I'm a little scattered. So I'm trying to do some things in advance and not others, because it's a really quick card, but it's got a little bit of coloring with the blends. It has very quick to put together. It has a little embossing. But I thought some of the things that that beginners may like to actually see the most is the actual cutting of these materials. So first, I will show you. So this is a folder. This folder is from another suite. You can buy the folder separate, or you can buy it as part of the suite. It's called Hearts of Love. The suite may be, I think, Endless Love. I've put it away. Yes, so Endless Love. This is the bundle. I like to put mine together, so when they come in the stamps, they also come with the dies. I repurpose this new package to transform my older, or move over my older, just my stamps, not my stamps and dies, but just the stamps for now. That way I've got mine together, which is how I like to put them in the DVD to begin with. So now I'm just putting it into this package instead of the DVD. I will show you what that looks like. So I've got this paper here because I've got a light and it's putting glare on my table, so I'm hoping that reduces it. So when you receive the new packaging that Stampin' Up! Has created, very nice, very slim line, so it's great for storage, especially when you have a small craft room. You can get these clear bins from the dollar store, Amazon, all over the place, and you can use those to put them standing up. And I can tell you that when I put about 20 of these together, it equals almost like 5 DVDs. So you're going to be able to keep and store a lot more. But one of the challenges is that demonstrators are finding a solution for is that this is not necessarily the layout, and there's nothing on the inside like the old DVD case that shows you where the stamps go. So what I've done is I have cut white cardstock to the size. And then what I've done is I've taken off this film. Leave all the stamps when you first get them on this window sheet. I ink it up with, this is Smoky Slate. I ink it up, I lay it down, and then I press it all over. And now when I'm done, I put the window, this clear cellophane back on it. When I'm putting these away, you're going to see, I actually take this off, put it down, lay my stamp down, and stick this on top. And it's exactly where you need it to be. So I'll show you that in a moment. So first, stamps. So to make this, let me go through some of the measurements. I'm going to keep this here because I've created this. And I normally have my new little logo here. Valentine Kisses, the cardstock is 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. That is called an A2. So if you're looking for envelopes, it's an A2 that you're looking for. Stampin' Up! Does carry them, but you can also find envelopes elsewhere if you want different colors instead of white or whatever your needs are. The first layer, so when I say first layer, I mean this first layer. This is Balmy Blue. This is Balmy Blue here. That's a second layer. And then this is called Designer Series Paper, DSP. So this here is a standard 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, which I'm going to show you how to do. Your layer 1 is your basic white. I've made it so I only have an 1/8 of an inch border instead of that wider border. So when you do that, if you're 5.5, I'm just going to go 5 1/4, and then 5 3/8 is just 2 notches on the Stampin' Up! Trimmer, which I will show you in a moment. I'll pull this up here. Okay, I'm using the Hearts of Love 3D embossing folder. I've aligned it in the folder, and I'll show you after because I've already got one prepared. I'm not using the line that's on it for placement because I didn't want a heart being half cut off at the top because I'm using a little bit of a wider piece. So what I did is I just kind of moved it up, and I'll show you the placement. The layer 2, which is your matching cardstock in this case, Balmy Blue, is 5.5 by 2 1/8. So again, it's 2, and then those 2 lines is 1/8. DSP is 5 3/4. So the DSP is actually the same as the basic white, 5 3/4, only it's by 2 to give it that 1/8 of an inch border to match. So sometimes you may do a layer that's kind of on the inside. I wanted my Balmy Blue to stay Balmy Blue all the way around, so I cut my Balmy Blue the same as my my base, 5.5. Okay. I've used the blends. So in this case, this blend is Pecan Pie. I've used dark and light, dark for the nose, light for everywhere else. You can use any kind of color that you want. Gray. You can even use cardstock if you wanted to do a crumb cake bear or a pecan pie cardstock. You don't have to color with blends. You can use cardstock. I've used light crumb cake for, in this case I forgot to do it, for the nose. Mossy Meadow light. So everything is light now. Mossy Meadow for the leaves in my bouquet. Berry Burst, Daffodil Delight for the inner circle. Balmy Blue for the birds. And Wink of Stella on the flowers. This again is the Valentine Kisses bundle. And also, I didn't do this one on the inside. I probably did my other one. What did I do with it now? I'm sure I did. I used the die set from the Endless Loves. And yeah, I put a little XO and I alternated. So on some cards for the swap, I did the Berry Burst with the blue. And in this case, the Balmy Blue with the Berry Burst as the hearts. And then you just glue them down. I'll pop that back in there. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of cutting and scoring. So I'm gonna keep that there. I'm gonna move those out. I don't have a lot of space, so sorry if this is, hopefully you can see it's not too close, not too far away. Okay, this is my Stampin' Up! Trimmer. Love this trimmer. I do have a video on trimmer, but I'm going to show you a couple of quick things. So some tips that I've learned from various demonstrators. If you want 2 card bases, and I do this when I get new color and color cardstock, I take 2 sheets out and I actually cut them and make 4 card bases. And I have a bin and I have all my card bases in the bin that I can just pull out at any time and I can kind of experiment with. In this case, I'm not going to go to that bin. I'm just going to show you how to do 2 with 2 card bases with 2 actions. So if you were just doing 1, you would turn it to 5.5. You would cut this in half on the long side, and then you would score down the middle. But we're going to actually do 2, so I'm just going to score down the middle first. So I'm going to take this, mark it to 4.25. I'm looking at my line here, my line down at the bottom. You might not see the bottom. It's hard to tell what you can see. Okay, and I'm just going to score it. I like to go back and forth a couple of times. Then I'm going to turn it and go to 5.5. Okay, and cut it. Now I have 2 card bases just by doing 1 score, turn, and cut. And a really good way of making sure that these are straight, like sometimes they're not always going to be perfect, but rather than just doing this, which is actually pretty good, you can do that. If you want to make sure when you're flattening it down, you can use your trimmer just by lining up into the corners and then folding over. And I'm pushing, and now I can give it that little bit of a press. And now you'll see, I don't have an edge. It's perfect all the way around. Sometimes you're going to get a little bit of an edge. If you do get a little bit of an edge, depending on where your score is, just make sure that your longest side is the front and your shortest is the back. I'm going to put this one aside. I'll use that for later. We'll come back to it. Okay. Now I've already got a piece of Balmy Blue, so I'm going to cut this Balmy Blue. I've already cut it to 2, and 2 lines is 1/8. I've already cut it to 2 1/8. So now I'm going to turn it, and this is my matte layer, my layer 2, so 5.5. The same as my card base. I don't need that. Okay, and now the next piece is my DSP. The DSP is 2, and I've already cut it at 2. And if you want to know what this one is, this is called Mixed Up Patterns, number 166992. It has some really pretty colors in here. It has Balmy Blue, Bubble Bath, Daffodil Delight, Old Olive, Secret Sea, and Strawberry Slush. So it has some really pretty different patterns in here. I happen to really like this one. So this one is my DSP, so it's going to be 2 and 5 3/8. So go to 5 1/4 and then 2 lines, 5 3/8. And you'll see, because it's a 12-inch, that I'm actually, when I cut 1 strip, I can get 2 out of that 1 strip. I'm going to put that aside. This is going to go on here. Okay. And I've already cut the white. So the white is, again, 5 3/4 by 4 1/8. And as I mentioned, I didn't want to go based on this line here, because then this big heart right here would be right in the middle. So I just pushed it up. But you can use this line as your placement. Okay, so the top, where it's got the lettering, is your embossed side of your folder. And where it doesn't have it, where it's got the Made in China, that is your debossed. And you can use both sides. Sometimes I do like the debossed side more, especially if you're going to ink it. There's all kinds of things you can do. So So I'm just going to put this aside. Okay. And we'll just start putting it together. I mean, there's not too much to this. I'm actually going to apply this first. Okay. I'm going to give it a little bit of a, flatten it down a little bit. You'll see that it still kind of sits up a bit. Okay. I'm going to just take your bone folder, give it a little crease. I like to turn it over. You can already see it's laying down. I can see that I've got a little bit of an edge there, so it might not have been absolutely perfect. So I'm just going to hold on to it, and I'm going to do it again. Okay. So I'm going to use Tombow glue, which I like. You can use any kind of adhesive that you want. I like to use the Tombow glue for this because it's going to give me that wiggle room. I put it in the middle. I'm not doing any writing on it, and having more glue means more wiggle and more wiggle time. And for me, I look at the corners, and if you look at the corners on a diagonal like this, here to here, I find that I have a better alignment. I'm a little off there. There we go. And then I just press it down without trying to move it. That's in there good. So next, I'm going to adhere this one. Just a nice thin bead along the edges. And I'll put this down. I'm going to try and get it straight. I got to pull it up. See, it moved on me when I pulled it up. That's okay. I've got wiggle room. I've got a good amount of Tombow glue on there that give me that wiggle room. And when I'm working with something a little bit bigger, my habit is I hold it in the corner and I kind of pinch the corners before I start doing this. Because if I'm doing this and I haven't pinched the corners, it could move on me. And then I'll end up with a little glue on the edge, and then I have to take out the glue eraser, and you can be exact with exactly where you want this to be to know that it's in the middle. Okay, because you can use your grid mat, you can use your glass mat, you can use your grid paper, you can use a ruler. I've already got one, so I'll just use that as my guide. And this is just going to get glued down. And I think, yeah. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just lining it up. The other thing you can use your trimmer for, if you're trying to put a full piece down, like some of the cards we did in the retreat, I'll show you a couple here. So we just had a card retreat. It's still available for purchase, and once you do, you can get added into the Facebook group, and they're all pre-recorded. Sorry, there were lives that are recorded that you'll have access to for a year. When you're doing, in this case, this is one of the cards that we did. This is the paper, and it goes down the whole front. If you want to get a really good alignment, you can do the same thing with your card base. Put it down, then put it into the corner and cut it down. And because I find sometimes I have a hard time, I need to glue that down there. Sometimes I have a hard time kind of lining up from here to here. The other tip is, instead of putting adhesive on your layer, on your paper, put it on your card base, and then it won't stick as you're trying to put it down. That's just one little tip that I've learned along the way. And this, of course, you can do this, and now it's, you can also hold it with your fingers. So there's lots of uses for your trimmer other than just cutting and scoring. Okay, so my card is ready to go. So the next piece is we're going to do a little bit of stamping. So I'll show you. This is the stamp. I'm going to go back to here. So really, really cute. This has got really nice sayings, sentiments in here. This one here that we're using, the die actually cuts out the little arms. So right here and down below here, it actually puts a cut. Then you can put a little teddy bear in his arms, the flowers, which is what I chose, a little jar. You can put all three in there if you really wanted to cover up his face. Like, you can do so much. You'll see there's two birdies. They each one slightly different, going in different directions. There's two dies for it. I found it was just as easy just to cut it out. I've just used this one here. It goes this way with the little eye. When you are picking up your stamps, you want to, because it's photopolymer, it's great, you can see through it, so you'll see your alignment. But with some things like sentiments, like this one here, which is long, you can also flex them. They flex, they stretch, right? They stretch. So you want to make sure that you're putting it down on a surface and you're picking it up. I like to pick them up diagonal. If you're trying to pick up a sentiment that's straight on like this, because we tend to look more at the sides instead of the sentiment and where it's going. So try to pick them up corner, and I do it with this even though I don't need to. It's just a habit. Just a habit that I've started along my crafting journey. So I'm just going to use black. You can use any color you want. I'll turn this sideways. So I have a glass mat. If you don't have a glass mat, because you want some cushion, the cling stamps, the red rubber, had cushion built into it. These do not. So you might want to use a silicone mat that you can also wipe off, including any glue, a piercing mat. I use my piercing mat a lot during the card retreat because we were poking holes, and you can see my holes are still here, but eventually they'll go away. It gives you that cushion, so you get a really good, a good line to your image. I'm just going to hold it. The longer you hold it, especially with color, the more color goes into the cardstock and stays that nice crisp. If you push too hard with color, it'll bleed out. So you don't want to push. You just want to hold it there and give it 5 to 10 seconds. Okay. And I'm going to show you something else that I do. We have chamois, but I'm just going to use a wet wipe to clean this off, and I'm going to show you what also I use it for. So, I'm just going to give it a wipe. I like to wipe things right away instead of letting them sit. Okay. So, the bear is really, really fast to color in. I'm going to first start... I'll do this guy before so I don't forget. I'm just giving him a little light crumb cake nose. I'm going to use the light crumb cake, and I'm just, if you use the tip, then you want to try and use the side. So in this case, because I've got a really small area, I'm going to use the bullet tip and just come around his ears. And of course you don't have to color like I mentioned. You can use cardstock. Okay, I'm going to turn him. I need to turn him, and I like to turn him instead of turning the whole bottom. Okay, I'm just going to come around here. I'm just filling it in a little bit. I'm not going to fill it in a lot because then I'm going to come in with the other end. Okay. These little dots are meant for you to pop so you don't ruin the ends when you take them out. There's all kinds of effects you can do with these. We're not really doing any blending, any multi-blending like colors, and I'm just going to come around when he's just going to be all one color. You can do all kinds of shading on this bear. I'm just not going to do that. I'm just showing you. So from here, the more I go over it, even though it's light, the darker it will be. If you go in, I'm just going to outline go around the edges, so that way I stay within my lines. Then I'm going to turn it on this side, and I'm going to do in circular motions. That way I don't get any streaky lines. And you may find, oh my gosh, I'm going over my lines again when I do this. That's okay, because it's going to actually dry less dark, and it's going to give them a little bit of dimension. So I'm just coming back around. I'm going to come through here. Okay, and then I'm just going to do in circular motions. Like I said, I'm going over. You can see kind of where I'm going over there. That's okay. When it dries, just gives him a little bit of dimension to him. I'm not going to keep coloring because you don't need to see me keep coloring. I'm just going to do his little nose. This is the dark pecan pie. You can do it the other way. Make him a dark bear with a light nose. You can do all crumb cake. This is petal pink, and this is dark because it's very, very light color. So I'm just doing inside the ear. And this is how you get a little bit of blending, is going over the other color to then blend it in. So this is how I colored in the bear. For the bird, so I've already got one done because you don't need to see me color for too long. I've already got the birds here. I used light pumpkin pie on the beak. I used Balmy Blue to match my cardstock and my DSP, light for the body. And then I used dark, and I went over the dark twice to give it a little bit more dimension as well, because Balmy Blue is a really light color. My flowers, I used, as I mentioned, a light Mossy Meadow, Berry Burst, Daffodil Light. Here, this gets covered. It's Cajun Craze, a light Cajun Craze, but it gets covered anyway as soon as you put them in. So I'll show you. Here's the little cut the die gives. So you just put him in just like this and straight down. Now I can keep it there where you don't see too much and it covers more of his face, or I can move it down just a little bit more. And now you can see more of his face and a little bit of the cone. And to hold him in place, he gets popped up. So he'll get a dimensional right there, and that's going to hold that bouquet in place. Before I do that though, I'm going to use a little wink of Stella. When you first get this wink of Stella, it's going to have a little black ring around it. Take the ring off and shake it. And when you push, you'll see it come out into the chamber. You can see it there. You can put it in your hand. I don't want too much, so I'm just going to leave it without putting any more on there. And just come around the flowers. Oh, I love sparkle, so Wink of Stella is my jam. If that's something. And if I want a little bit more, I'll wait till it dries. I can get more out of the chamber, see where it's a little bit light, and then it's more concentrated silver. A little bit more concentrated. You can pick it up from your hand. You can put it directly on. You can get more out of it that way. More of that sparkle. Or just come over it again. So you can come over it multiple times. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I'm going to rinse this off my hand. I've got a little sparkle on me now. Okay, on my pants it goes. I'll let that... I'm going to put this in. This is very, very quick card. In fact, if I wasn't talking and I was just doing, you could have this card done in I like 15, 20 minutes. It could be done. Just going to position it a little bit down, a little bit further. Kind of like it right there. Okay, I'm going to get some dimensionals. And I'm going to put, you'll see I like to cut mine, but I like to keep, I go from right to left, and I like to keep just one line cut and the other one's full, and I cut them as I need them. So that way, in this case, I've got one, and I can just, big ones to put down. I'm not going to put too many on here. You know what? I think I'm going to do that little half ones to kind of spread it out a bit. You can, if you don't have nails to pull these off, you can use take your pick tool, just like this, stab it and pull it up. And I'm kind of angling it to pull it up, pull them off. Okay, this is going to go on my card base here. Kind of want to have them down a little bit. Kind of know where I'm gonna, right about there. Okay, next thing is I'm gonna put little ribbon down. Okay, I've made this longer than what I need. It's okay. My sentiment's not done yet. We'll stamp it in a moment, but you can see it can be as small as this or as big as this. Just cut the ends. If you want to adjust it, put your finger in the middle, hold it, pull these ends, and that's going to keep it nice and formed. Let's stamp this guy. Let's stamp it. There's my stamp, my ink, my stamp. Happy Valentine's Day. You can see I'm going to look at it. I've already used it a few times, so it should be good. Good, nice print. Just going to put my head over it and stamp down. Hold it. Try not to wiggle it. Just hold it for 5-10 seconds. Pull it up. So another trick, when you're using this twine, this linen thread, when it comes off the spool, it's all wound up. So a trick that us cross stitchers use, which you may know of, is I'm not going to wet my fingers because, well, that's just a little extra for the people, for the love that I give people when I give them these cards. No, I'm going to use this. I'm going to wet my hand, and then I'm just going to pull it through. So you could do this as well, but now it's wet when I go to use it. So I just wet my hands on the wipe. You can, like I said, lick your fingers, and you'll see there's no more. Now you can work with it. And as soon as you wrap it up, it's going to take that form back. That's a little trick. That's a cross stitcher's trick. Okay, this is almost like floss. It's thread. Okay, I don't know where I'm going to put that yet, so I'm just going to attach with a glue dot. Just going to take it, roll it up. Okay, roll it in my fingers to a little ball. Put it right on the back of that knot. Squish it down. Now I'm not going to squish it yet. I just want to see exactly where I want it to go. And I'm going to use this to place it. So I kind of want this sentiment right about there. I want this to go a little bit more on the sideways. Now I push it down. I've got it kind of in the middle where I want it to go. Now I can pull that up. I'm going to make sure that I'm not using my paper scissors to cut this. I use my ribbon scissors. They're specifically for ribbon. Put a couple dimensionals on the back of my sentiment. In this case, I'm going to use full ones. It fits full ones, so why not? And now I'm going to put one right there beside the knot. Not on the back of here on my sentiment because I don't know exactly where it's going to go. So now when I place this down, I've got dimension in the middle and not over the knot. And as soon as you press it down, it's going to be harder to pick up. Okay, it can take the paper with it. But if you place something down, you don't press into it, you can typically still pick it up. Glue, dimensionals, all that kind of stuff. So I am going to put some dimensionals on these little guys, and they're going to take the minis. I could cut up the regular size ones, but I've already got minis here. They're perfect fit, so I might as well use the mini. And you can see everybody's funny because everyone's different about, you know, where they pull their dimensions from and where they pull their gems from, their embellishments. I tend to go from the right. I don't go, I see a lot of people go in the middle because they got to bend it to grab it. I just put my fingers here and do this and grab the corner. And after that, I can grab it. But I also have nails, so, but it's funny how everybody's a little bit different. I'm going to put this guy. I'm going to put him right down there. Kind of angle him. And as I mentioned, this also has a bird that goes the other way without the little eye. He's got a different little face. I'm going to put this one kind of on the end, so he's like walking off the sentiment. Now the only thing is the embellishments. I'm using the iridescent pearls because they're white. You can color them, and that's what I've done here. I've colored them. You want the dark because, as I mentioned, Balmy Blue is very light. So I'm just going to color. Can I color this one in? It's good to kind of color them and let them sit. So it's probably the first thing I should have done. That would have been, well, wise. Would have been a smart choice, but hey, I wasn't thinking. And one more small one. I'll go over this one. See, I've started going over there and I'm like, ah. So I tend to actually take these and move them back over there if I've done that. Just the things in my head. Where'd my take your pick? Okay. I'm going to take this putty right on the end there. I've got, you can use putty tape, plumber's tape. I use tape so it doesn't keep coming out. Once you have it come out, you kind of want to back it off a little bit. I didn't do that when I was making 15 cards. So it's kind of come out more than I wanted it to. I'm going to put these, I don't know where that came. I'm going to put these in a triangle. I think I'm going to put one here. And I'll put a little one right next to it. And this one here, I'm going to put down over here, down at the bottom. So now I've kind of gone from left to right. So you work in odd numbers. And I'm an even numbered person. That's my OCD. But I've gone, like, I've put 5, I've put 8, depending on what you want to do. I just put 3 embellishments. I think that's enough for this card. That's it. That's how quick and easy this card is. As I said, I might be a little biased because I think it's pretty cute. Well, yeah, of course, I made it. So before I end the video, I will share with you the cards that I made and how I'm going to put that stamp back in that case. So this is the card retreat of 2026. It comes with a bundle that is now available for pre-order for demonstrators. It is called Forever Florals. It also comes with a stamp set that is exclusive to the card retreat. You get all of the paper, designer series, and you also get the 2-tone cardstock and a package of basic white because you use all of the bases are white. So this is the order I did them in, not the order that the agenda was in. It's just what order I did them in. So this is one. And I just love this. This is the stamp. I love this card. It's so pretty. Okay. This is, and all of the envelopes are done. So when you're doing an envelope like this, and you're going to color through it, you may transfer color to the other side. Now, mine isn't, because I took basic white copy paper, and you can see, and I stuck it inside the envelope. Then I colored it. Then I just removed it after, and now I don't have any color bleaching to the back. Okay, just another little tip. So here is another one that I did. This one here. You can see I got a little overzealous with the glue. I'll come back and take care of that. The little dots is created by using the lift marker. And the longer you hold it, the more it spreads out, the more it lifts. So you can get these little spots, big spots. So that was a really fun card. And instead of that die being the full, let's see if I can show you. There are other ways of being able to use our dies. This die happens to be this one here. So instead of putting it in and using it like that, it's actually using this side for this half and this side for this half, and only going halfway. So I still have paper in the middle. So a clever way of using our dies. This is what this one looks like. This is another card. This is heat embossed. This is using a template and a dauber. And nice masculine, I think masculine card. And you can also emboss your envelope. This is my favorite. This is one of my favorites. So no, not that one. This one's cute. It's not one of my favorites, but a little weave, just a little weave there, and just some leaves on it. This one here is one of my favorites. You untie it to open it, and then when you open it, it has a different stamp on the other side in the lighter Calypso Coral. And then we also did the flap on the envelope. This is all colored, so this is cloud cover in dark. That's colored. We only got one sheet of that paper. I kind of wish that we got a little bit more, because I love that paper. This is another one that we did. Different technique with, again, cutting up that big die and changing, so cutting out this corner of it and then coloring some of it and not all of it, giving you that aged, and a little bit of gold embossing. Another card is, this is my favorite. This card I'm actually going to do for a friend. This is white that is just pressed into the ink, into the Secret Seed ink, and then you let it sit. This is the two-tone cardstock in the back. This is also pressed into the Petal Pink ink. I just think that's cute, and that's what that looks like. This one's a little more masculine. This is done in silver, and this is all done in silver as well. And this is the inside. Another technique of weaving on the outside, just using embossing and paper, and then paper with a stamp over top of it, like the text, and just putting that on your cardstock. You don't always have to do the flap. Another one of my favorite cards, this one here. It's just this paper. I just love this paper so much. So I'll be using that stamp set that we get, which is this. And I'll be using that large flowers, I think, to be making a lot of my own designer series paper. Really, really cute card. This one's using flaps. So you're on my mind and in my heart. It's using flip-flops, 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 flip-flops. And Again, just DSP. There's 15 cards. Here's another one. Yes, that's why it took me so long. I've been focused on this. This is another one. Another card here. The inside looks like this, and I have a boo-boo. So I'm going to put something there. I'm going to put another flower there and then color it in. So you won't see my boo-boo. There's no mistakes, right? There's never a mistake. We just make it what it is. It's what makes it handmade. Not as much my favorite color, my favorite card, but it does have an opening like this. And I made a mistake and I was trying to follow and I thought she put it to here. It was really hard to see in the video and it was actually to the back, which made sense. So I'm actually, and I find this is kind of weak because it's thin. It's the Two Tones cardstock. It's just only colored on one side. I'm actually going to take another one and I'm going to put it over top to make it a little bit stronger. And then I'm going to put DSP on this side. I just haven't done it because I only did this last night. I did, how many cards did I do last night? I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 cards to finish this off last night. Oh, and that's with the stamp. Okay, with the envelope. This is another one, and this is a cute card. Just very subtle on the inside. Really cute on the outside. Another one here. In the video, they actually poked holes with your take your pick and then put the thread through and then ran it on the inside of the card. And I thought, wow, that's a lot of thread. So what I did is I poked it through and then I taped both sides to the back. So it's just a little short piece doubled over, taped to the back. This is taped to the back. Then I did a bow and put the bow down with just some glue dot. So now I'm not wasting 25 inches. I literally use less than 12. And that's the envelope. This one here, cute, cute. So it's actually, I changed up my sentiment. So instead of in my heart, it's always and forever in my heart. So I just covered up the and, dipped it, inked it up, removed my masking tape here, and then stamped it. Okay, I need to put some dimensionals right there. I just realized that. Okay, and the front. And the last one. This is the one I ended on. This was 15, and I ended on this one. This is not quite sticking down to the gold, but it's gold embossed, and you can see I can actually literally take these and lift them right up. A flip flap, and it's got little floating gold embossed hearts and some flowers in there. And it's just a congrats card. It could be a wedding card. It could be a graduation card. And then the envelope is just putting this on the top. I think I would have probably preferred it down below because this is normally where you put your address. This is where they mark it, the mail. So I probably would have put it down there. That's where they put it. So, or maybe at least that's where I thought they put it. Yeah, it's a lot. 15 cards is a lot, but it is a lot of fun, and you can come back to them for up to a year. So, and then I've got a printout that I don't have the measurements. Hopefully they are making a PDF that has the measurements, because what they did give us was a downloadable file. Sorry, wrong thing. They gave us a downloadable file. Let me find it. I think I did. I put it in my little box here with all my little extras. So there's extra DSP, and there's quite a bit of embellishments that are left. At least more than half the 150 embellishments are left. They gave us this to print off, and it was purposely meant in this size so that you could fold it in half and stick it in your cards as we were prepping, so then everyone could have all of their cards ready and follow along with the lives. There are a couple mistakes that they'd made in here, but I kind of made my notes along the way. tells us what we need, but it doesn't tell us the measurements of the paper. The paper that we received had lines on the back. It was one-sided, showed you where you cut. So now I need to go back through, if we don't have the PDF, to write down the actual measurements so I know to remake the card. Anyway, so that's it. It's probably a pretty long video, and I rambled on. I talked the whole time. So apologies, because I really am talking to myself since I'm not live. I've only done a few. I'm going to get there. I swear I am. And hopefully you like the content, the tips. I'm hopeful that everything is helpful, and that if you do, that you will like, that you will go to my Facebook page, and that you will follow me. And then eventually, with those followers, as I grow, I will be able to go live. So thank you for following along with me and your patience. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, whichever that is. And I'll see you next time. Thanks, and bye-bye.